And in this tutorial, I'll show you how to make these sugar skull bath bombs for Dia de los Muertos. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more bath product DIYs like this one. And be sure to follow me on social media at Katrinaosity on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter so you can tag me if you decide to do this project, because sugar skulls have infinite possibilities for decorating them, and I really want to see how yours turn out.
For this project, you'll need a large mixing bowl, a large spoon and a small spoon, candy molds in the shape of skulls, I'll link below in the description where I got these, 1 cup of citric acid, 1 cup of epsom salts, 2 cups of baking soda, 1 cup of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, and 2 teaspoons of water, as well as whichever essential oils you prefer. This is optional, but you'll also need a blender if you want to blend your Epsom salts before adding them. I blended mine because it makes them nice and smooth and you don't end up with any chunks in the bottom of the bathtub. Begin by adding all of your dry ingredients to your large mixing bowl and combine them gently. If you find that you have a lot of particles floating through the air, you may want to wear a mask or a bandana over your face, but I prefer to just mix very gently and slowly so I don't stir up a whole bunch of dust. In a small container, combine your water, oil, and essential oils, and I recommend no more than 40 drops for the entire batch. You'll want to make sure you're using oils that are safe for you. Some are not appropriate for pregnant or nursing mothers, and avoid using too much oil because too much exposure to large amounts of essential oils could cause sensitization or allergies. Then stir those as thoroughly as possible. They won't fully combine, but you can get them pretty close. Then add a few tablespoons at a time to your dry mixture and combine it as quickly as possible. You'll want to combine it a little bit at a time because this will stop a chemical reaction from happening, which will basically waste the fizz of your bath bombs if you don't stir it quickly enough and combine the oils and liquids. So just add a few drops at a time and combine it little by little, and eventually you'll get to the point where you've combined everything from the bowl, and you may want to put a little bit of your powder mixture into the bowl that had your liquid mixture just to get those last bits of oil out of there, and so you know you're not wasting anything. If your mixture seems too dry, you can always add a couple tablespoons more of water. Depending on your climate, this will react differently with the air. I ended up adding another half teaspoon of water to my mixture, and then I ended up with a texture like this where it clumps together nicely and holds its shape. Then you'll want to transfer it into your candy mold, and I recommend putting the back portion in first and pressing it into place, and keep adding more mixture to this until you have a slight mound over the surface of your candy mold. Then move on to the front side of the mold and make sure that you're breaking up any clumps in your mixture so that you can get a nice fine powder in the front of the mold, and it will settle nicely into all of the little nooks and crannies and you won't end up with any gaps in your sugar skull. Keep pressing this down as much as possible until both molds have a slight mound over the surface, and then press them together firmly for several seconds and slowly lift the front off, and there is your sugar skull bath bomb. Gently remove the back portion from it and you can brush off any seam lines on the edges and set them on a paper towel in a warm, dry place to dry for at least 12 hours before you decorate them. To make your royal frosting, you'll need a small bowl, powdered sugar, a lemon, an egg, essential oil, and an electric mixer with whisk attachment. To color your frosting, you'll need several plastic baggies, food coloring, scissors, and a spoon. Begin by separating your egg white into your bowl and discard the egg yolk. Then add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and combine those on medium-high until it starts to hold together firmly and you can form little peaks in your foam. Once it has reached the right consistency, slowly add 1.5 cups of powdered sugar into the mixture. If you find that your mixture gets a little bit too liquidy, you can always add a little bit more powdered sugar, or if it's too dry, you can add a tiny bit more water, but make sure you work slowly because you don't want to dilute this mixture too much with extra ingredients. I ended up taking about 5 minutes to completely combine this mixture, and it's best to work slowly, otherwise you could end up with a goopy mess. You want your mixture to slowly ooze because it has to be wet to stick to the skulls, but it can't be too wet. Then put small dollops of your mixture into each of your plastic baggies for however many colors you want. Then add more food coloring than you think you're going to need because it's going to be diluted by the bright white of the royal icing. Once it's in the bag, close up the Ziploc bag and then gently massage it with your fingers until all of that food coloring is mixed into that royal icing. Cut the tiniest tip off of the corner of your bag, and now you have a piping bag for your icing. You can also use icing tips and professional pastry bags if you want, but I don't like staining those with food coloring, and this works just fine for me. I recommend using larger lines on your sugar skulls because it gives more area for the icing to stick to the skulls. And I also recommend using one color at a time and decorating each of your skulls with whichever lines you think you'll want in that color because the icing will dry out the longer it's exposed to air. You want this icing to dry quickly, but keep that in mind when you're decorating that once you cut the tip off of that bag, you only have a little while to work with it before it stiffens up. And just be creative and have fun. There are absolutely no rules for decorating sugar skulls. Just do whatever you like and have fun with the colors and designs. And those are your finished sugar skulls. Let them sit and cure for at least a week before using them to ensure the best fizz. If you let them sit a little bit longer, they will fizz a lot more, and I recommend you use them within the year. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more DIY videos like this one, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media at Katrinaosity, and if you do decide to do this project, make sure you send me a picture and tag me because I'd love to see how yours come out.